There is a secret so simple, so effortless, that most people overlook it entirely. It's not hidden in books of finance or taught in boardrooms. It doesn't require a degree, a connection, or a penny in the bank. And yet this secret is the very foundation upon which millionaires quietly build their fortunes. The wealth you seek, the success you dream of, the freedom you crave is not out there, it's here. It's already within you. The greatest illusion that holds people back from prosperity is the belief that something must change externally first. They wait for the right job, the perfect investment, the lucky break. They chase results, like a dog chasing its tail, unaware that the very act of chasing ensures the thing remains just out of reach. But the secret millionaires use is not to chase, it is to assume, not to struggle, but to rest in the awareness of already having. They do not live in hope, they live in the knowing. They carry themselves not as someone who will one day become rich, but as someone who already is. Their inner conversations are not filled with wishes, but declarations. I am wealthy, I am successful, I am living my dream. And because they dwell in these statements, not merely saying them, but feeling them to be true, the world bends to mirror it back. Everything you experience in life begins with consciousness. What you accept as true becomes the lens through which your reality is shaped. To the conscious mind, this seems absurd. It wants logic, strategy, proof. But the deeper power that shapes worlds does not require proof. It requires belief. And belief is not something you build with effort. It is something you sink into, as naturally as you sink into sleep. You simply accept it. You decide to believe the unseen as though it were seen. You do not become a millionaire by desperately clawing toward the goal. You become it by embodying it now. If you had the fortune you desired today, how would you feel? How would you walk? What would your inner tone be? Not your outer action, but your inner posture. That is the secret. That posture, the invisible attitude behind your eyes, is everything. The world is not reacting to your hard work alone. It's not reacting to your words, your resumes, or your qualifications. It is reacting to your state of being. If you feel poor, if you think poor, if you speak as one waiting for money, you are in the state of lack. And no matter how much action you take, you will attract more situations that reflect that state. But shift the state, and the outer world shifts effortlessly with it. This is not a process of pretending. It is not about faking it or putting on a mask. It is about entering into the reality you desire with feeling, with presence, with imagination. That is the power the secret millionaires use. They do not see imagination as fantasy. They know it is creation. Imagination is not daydreaming. It is the womb from which your future is born. What you imagine, when felt as real, begins to harden into fact. The simplicity of this truth is why it is overlooked. People want complexity. They want long methods and blueprints. They believe the answer must be buried under years of toil. But the universe works in accordance with your awareness. It doesn't need time. It needs clarity. When your inner world is aligned, the outer world rushes to comply. If you want to be wealthy, be it now, not in things, not in possessions, but in vibration, in emotion, in consciousness. Be wealth. Think wealth. Feel wealth. Before the money ever arrives, the millionaire mindset must arrive. And once it does, the outer symbols must follow. It is law. It is not personal. It is not random. It is principle. The reason this secret works is because the world is not solid and fixed. It is fluid, flexible, reflective. The world is not happening to you. It is happening from you. When you change what you are within, the world without becomes obedient. It reflects the image held within your imagination. If you walk as the millionaire now, you instruct the world to reveal that version of you in form. You do not need to know how it will happen. That is not your role. Your only responsibility is to occupy the state. The how is orchestrated by forces far greater than your conscious mind. The moment you feel it real, life begins rearranging itself. You may overhear a conversation, be drawn to a place, meet someone seemingly by accident. But these are not coincidences. They are confirmations. The outer world begins to echo the inner shift. This is why you must stop reacting to appearances. If your bank account shows lack, do not argue for your limitations. Do not reinforce what you see. Instead, Go within. Close your eyes and see the numbers you wish to see, not as hope, but as reality. Feel the joy of seeing them. Feel the relief, the pride, the confidence. Live from that feeling and let the outer facts catch up. Millionaires do not wait for permission to believe. They decide. They assume the position within, and the world bows in response. They are not smarter, luckier, or more deserving. They are simply conscious of a different truth, and you can be too, right now, this very moment. You can shift your state. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to have it all? Let go of trying to answer logically. Instead, feel it. Let that feeling grow. Let it take root in your mind, in your body. Dwell in it. Return to it again and again, until it becomes your home, until it is more real to you than what your eyes see. The world will try to distract you. It will show you evidence of your past. It will tempt you to believe in what is visible. But the visible is just the echo of your old state. If you want new results, you must occupy a new state, regardless of what the senses say. Your senses are always late to the party. They are showing you what you already created. So do not look to them for confirmation. Look within. Every time you return to your desired state, you are impressing your subconscious with a new pattern. And the subconscious never fails to outpicture what is impressed upon it with feeling. Feeling is the key. It is not enough to repeat affirmations without emotion. You must feel the truth of what you speak. You must saturate yourself in the mood of the wish fulfilled. What does that cost? Nothing. No money, no effort, no struggle, just willingness, just a moment of stillness, just a shift in attention. That is the simplicity of the secret. You don't need a 10-step plan. You don't need to know what's trending in the markets. You need only to know yourself as the one who already has. Speak it. I am rich. I am abundant. Money flows to me easily, not as empty declarations but as expressions of truth. Say them in your quiet moments. Say them as you walk, as you lie down to sleep. Let them become the rhythm of your inner world, and soon you will see them mirrored back in the outer. Do not wait. Do not say, one day. That day will never come unless you bring it here. You bring it here by entering the state now. You do not travel to wealth. You awaken to it. You realize it was always within reach, waiting for you to claim it. The world will respond to you as you assume the role, as you carry the posture of wealth, not prideful but peaceful, not boastful but certain. When you no longer feel the need to chase, but instead rest in the awareness that it is already done, then it begins to show up in ways that defy logic. There are those who will doubt this. Let them. You need not convince anyone. You need only convince yourself. The moment you believe fully, the game changes. And your belief is not measured by your words. It is measured by your reactions. When life tests you, do you fall back into fear, or do you remain anchored in your new state? Your reaction reveals your true state, and your state creates your reality. This is not magic, though it may feel magical. It is the natural consequence of living from the inside out. Once you know this, you are free, no longer a victim of the economy, or the opinions of others, or the conditions of your upbringing. You are free to choose, free to create, free to command reality, by commanding your attention. There is no power greater than this, and no secret simpler. Return to it daily. Make it your practice, not with strain, but with joy. Play with it. Imagine lavish scenes. Hear the compliments. Feel the success. Smile as if it's already yours, because it is. The moment you feel it, it begins. What the millionaires have done, you can do. What they've realized, you can realize. They are not special. They simply understand the truth that creation begins in the unseen. That wealth is not a destination, it is a state of mind. And that state is available to you now, not tomorrow, not when you have more money, not when someone gives you permission. Now, dare to believe differently. Dare to see yourself differently. The world will rise to meet your new vision. It has no choice. It is bound by law to reflect what you accept as true. So accept the highest truth, that you are already everything you desire to be. And when you live from that truth, nothing can stop it from becoming your experience. You are not becoming rich. You are awakening to the richness that already is. The only thing that ever stood in the way was the belief that it wasn't so. And now, that belief has been dissolved. Now you know the secret. Now you are free. This is the shift that changes everything. Not a shift in your job or your income or your surroundings, but a shift in your identity, in how you see yourself when no one else is watching.
in how you feel when you speak to yourself in silence. You no longer see yourself as someone hoping to succeed. You feel yourself as success itself. You do not beg reality to change. You command it with your awareness. You do not ask for wealth to come to you. You become the vibration that wealth cannot resist. Think of the most successful people you admire, those who move through life with ease, attracting opportunities and abundance without effort. Their power is not in what they do, but in how they are. They have mastered the art of assumption. They have trained themselves to live from the end, to occupy the feeling of their desires fulfilled, even before the physical evidence appears. That is the only real work. The rest is added effortlessly. You may still take action. You may still work, create, build, but you do it from a different energy. You act from fullness, not lack, from joy, not desperation. Your actions are no longer a way to get something. They are a natural expression of who you already believe you are. And when you act from that truth, life conspires to assist you. Even when obstacles seem to arise, you are not moved, because you no longer measure success by appearances. You know the truth is already written. You felt the outcome, and that feeling is the evidence. The rest is just catching up, just temporary shadows dissolving under the light of your new awareness. This is why the secret works so powerfully. It's not about controlling the world. It's about controlling the only thing you truly can, your state of being. When your inner world is clear, aligned, and saturated with the energy of already having, there is nothing left to do but receive. The outer world becomes a mirror, and it must reflect the new image you've chosen.
You are not separate from what you want. That desire was not placed in you randomly. It is a preview of what is already possible. You wouldn't even be able to imagine it if it weren't within reach. Your imagination is not a toy. It is a tool. It is the blueprint for your life. When you imagine vividly and feel deeply, you are drafting reality into existence. So use it every day. Close your eyes and go there. Enter into the scene that implies your wish is fulfilled. Hear the voices congratulating you. See the bank notifications. Feel the luxury around you, the satisfaction, the joy, the calm. Make it so real within that the world has no choice but to confirm it. You will notice small signs at first. Unexpected money, opportunities, people saying things that match your vision, synchronicities. These are all signals that you've shifted. Celebrate them, but don't become obsessed with them. Stay loyal to your state. The more you remain there, the more quickly the physical will catch up. It's only ever waiting on you. And here's the beauty. You don't need perfect belief. You don't need to eliminate every doubt. You just need persistence, a willingness to return again and again to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Over time, it becomes natural. It becomes your new default. And the old patterns fade like mist in the morning sun. The ones who seem lucky, who seem to manifest with ease, are not lucky. They are aligned. They are inwardly convinced of their wealth, long before the evidence appears. They've practiced the inner state until it became effortless, until it became who they are. And now the world simply follows suit. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't ask what you need to do. Ask who you need to be. Feel it, embody it, walk in it, speak from it, think from it. Let it be the core of every action, every thought, every breath. And watch how reality begins to rearrange itself in your favor. You don't have to force results anymore. You don't have to convince anyone. Your only task is to live from the truth that it is already done. That's the only secret. The one the millionaires have known all along. The one that was never hidden, only ignored. The one that is so simple, most overlook it entirely. Let the simplicity of this truth sink in. You are not on a journey to become. You are waking up to what already is. The more you strip away the effort, the tension, the striving, the closer you come to the effortless flow that creates all success. Because true power is quiet. It's not loud or frantic. It doesn't chase. It rests, knowing the outcome is inevitable. This is the energy that draws wealth like a magnet. Not arrogance, but certainty. Not hustle, but harmony. When you begin to live in this frequency, money becomes a byproduct, not a pursuit. It flows because you're no longer blocking it with fear, doubt, and disbelief. You're no longer pushing it away with a mindset of separation. You are no longer trying to get rich. You are simply being who you already are. There's no greater magnet than the one who feels whole, because the world is drawn to wholeness. It mirrors back confidence, assurance, abundance. And the best part is, you don't need anyone's approval to do this. No gatekeepers, no waiting in line, no qualifications. The moment you decide to live from the reality you desire, the entire universe begins to align with that decision. It is not your job to convince others of your vision. It is your job to convince yourself. And you do that by returning again and again to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, by refusing to argue for your limitations, by speaking only from the end, even when the beginning still looks unchanged. This is not delusion. It is creation. You are not denying facts. You are replacing them. You are not ignoring reality. You are reimagining it. Every great change begins within. The world you see today is nothing more than the residue of past thinking. And if you want a new world tomorrow, the place to start is within your own consciousness today. You will know you are on the right track, not by how fast results come, but by how you feel. There will be a peace that rises up, a calm that can't be shaken, because you'll know that it's already done. You'll stop needing the proof to feel the truth. And in that shift, the proof will come. Others may still be caught in the struggle. Let them be. You don't need to wake them up. You need to stay awake yourself. The moment you fall back into the old state, the old patterns return. But every time you choose the new state, you reinforce a new destiny. That is your power. That is your gift. That is the secret, hiding in plain sight. The ones who use it may not talk about it. They don't need to. It's not a trick they share over dinner. It's a silent practice, a daily devotion to the unseen, a loyalty to their inner world above all. And you too can begin now, not tomorrow, not next year, now, because now is the only time that exists. You're not waiting for something to happen. You are allowing what has already happened in consciousness to take form. That's the shift. That's the reversal of cause and effect. Most people think life causes their feelings, but those who know the secret realize it's their feelings that cause life. So they start there, and from there everything changes. You begin to walk differently, not because you're pretending, but because you've remembered. You've remembered who you truly are beneath the doubts and fears and conditioning. You've remembered that abundance is your natural state, that lack was never real. It was only the shadow of forgotten truth. And now in this moment of remembering, you are free to embody the fullness that was always yours. Let others argue for practicality. Let them insist on seeing before believing. You are done with that cycle. You've tasted the power of believing first, and you see how swiftly reality bows to that inner conviction. You now know that what you accept within will soon become what you receive without. And so you accept joy, prosperity, clarity, and fulfillment, not as distant dreams, but as present facts. You stop questioning and start assuming. Your new identity becomes stable. You no longer need to force the feeling. It begins to live in you. It becomes familiar, natural, automatic. And that is when the floodgates open. Not because you did more, but because you finally stopped resisting. You surrendered to the version of yourself that was always rich, always aligned, always complete. And in that surrender, the current of life carried you to where you already belonged. So each day becomes a return to the feeling, the seeing, the knowing. Not a battle, not a grind, but a gentle remembering. A simple shift of attention from what appears to what is. You stop feeding energy to appearances, and you pour all your attention into the assumption of your chosen reality. Not once, not twice, but continuously. That's how you rewire the world. This quiet discipline is what separates those who manifest from those who merely wish. It is not intensity that matters, but consistency. A steady, unwavering choice to dwell in the state you desire, regardless of what surrounds you. You carry it in your tone, in your step, in your breath, and the world responds. It must. It cannot resist your inner command, because it is not separate from you. You are not subject to circumstances. You are the source of them. You do not ask life to be kind to you. You embody kindness within, and life reflects it back. You do not chase money. You become wealth itself. You do not wait to be chosen. You recognize you are already the chooser. This is how the millionaires live without effort. They are not playing the same game as everyone else. While others struggle on the outside, they command from the inside. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. It is not wishful thinking. It is conscious choosing. It is the art of knowing before seeing, of feeling before receiving, of living the result before the result arrives. And in doing so, they collapse time,
What would have taken years happens in weeks. What once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Because the moment you fully accept it as done, you remove every barrier that kept it away. You end the inner debate. You stop looking for signs and begin walking as the sign itself. You become the living proof of the unseen, and life, recognizing your inner certainty, rushes to confirm it with tangible results. It must, for the outer world is only ever echoing the truth you hold most tightly within. You no longer need to convince yourself daily with effort. You simply live it. The new state becomes your new home. You wake up in it. You speak from it. You drift to sleep in it. And the more you live there, the more effortlessly life shapes itself around that identity. People respond to you differently. Opportunities seem to find you without your searching. Circumstances align as if by magic. But it is no magic. It is law. Divine, unbreakable, silent law. Even when challenges arise, you are unmoved. Because you're no longer measuring progress by what happens outside. You've turned your eyes inward. And that's where your future begins. You understand now that a delay is not a denial, that a seeming setback is only a test of your faith in the unseen. So you remain, you persist in your knowing, and the world must yield to the one who will not be moved. This is the posture of true power, not loud, not forceful, but still, certain, sure. Those who possess this knowing do not need to prove it, they radiate it. You can feel it in their presence, in their words, in their energy. They don't look for validation, because they've already accepted the highest truth within themselves. They've made peace with their vision, and in doing so they've made it real. And this too is available to you, not when you've fixed everything, not when you've earned it, but the moment you choose it, the moment you stop trying to get there, and instead live from there. It's not about distance, it's about awareness. You're not moving toward abundance. You're removing the illusion that it was ever separate from you. So let the old stories fall away. Let go of the identity that says someday. Let go of the habits that say maybe. Let go of the language that says if. Replace it with I am. Replace it with already done. Replace it with this is who I now choose to be. And repeat that choice so often, so consistently, that the world has no choice but to respond. Because the secret millionaires use, the one so simple it's overlooked, is not in what they do. It's in who they are being. They are being abundance, even when their bank account is still catching up. They are being success even when the world hasn't yet caught on. They walk, talk, think, and breathe from the state of the wish fulfilled. And they do it so naturally, that the world can't help but make it real. It is not a performance. It is not pretending. It is a silent agreement with the self that says, this is already who I am. And when you reach that level of agreement with yourself, when you no longer contradict your desire with doubt, fear, or hesitation, you unlock a force more powerful than any external strategy. You align with the source of all creation. You merge with the same intelligence that spins the planets and blooms the flowers. You become one with the flow of life, and in that flow everything is added unto you.
You don't make wealth happen. You allow it. You don't chase opportunity. You attract it. You don't struggle for recognition. You command it from the frequency you now live in. And it all unfolds with such ease that others will ask you how you did it. And you'll smile, because you'll know they're looking in all the wrong places. They're still looking out there, while you found everything in here. That's why the secret is simple. It's not complicated. It's not difficult. It's not reserved for the few. It is for anyone who dares to believe that what they feel inside is more powerful than what they see outside. It is for the one who decides that their imagination is the blueprint, not the fantasy. It is for you, right now, in this moment. The only cost is your old story. The only requirement is your attention. Can you stay faithful to the new version of you, even when the world hasn't caught up yet? Can you hold that inner vision when nothing outside confirms it? That is the test. And those who pass it are those who rise. They do not rise by fighting the old, but by dwelling in the new. They do not argue with reality. They replace it from within. They move silently, confidently, invisibly at first. But soon, the world begins to reflect their inner world so vividly that no one can deny the transformation. And it all began in stillness, in quiet, in imagination, in the invisible. So the next time you find yourself doubting, come back to the secret. Come back to the simplicity. Close your eyes. See the scene. Feel the feeling. Speak the words. Let the inner knowing take over. Let your state become so real to you that it no longer matters what's real out there. Let the old world pass away without resistance. Let the new one rise, not from effort, but from embodiment. When you do, you will understand why the secret never needed to be hidden. It was always right in front of you, waiting for you to slow down, turn inward, and claim it. Because the moment you claim it, everything shifts. You're no longer the person trying to become, you are the person who already is. The world begins to bow to that identity, because that identity carries authority. Not forced authority, not shouted declarations, but the quiet power of someone who knows. And knowing always wins. Knowing doesn't waver. Knowing doesn't ask. Knowing declares and allows. This is the foundation of the new life you're stepping into. You're no longer reacting. You're initiating. You're no longer a servant of circumstance. You're the author of them. You're no longer sculpted by the world. You're shaping it through your internal convictions. This is the ultimate return to your own power. And in that return, the games of the world fade. The chase ends. The struggle dissolves. You are simply being what you once believed you had to earn. That's when you finally understand. Abundance was never about acquiring. It was always about aligning. When you are aligned, the outer form bends around you. You become magnetic, and everything required for your unfolding arrives in perfect timing, guided by a power deeper than planning. You stop questioning the route, because you trust the direction. You stop asking when, because you live as though it's now. Even your language begins to change. You no longer speak from separation. You don't say, I hope it happens, or maybe someday. Those words no longer belong to you. Now you speak from ownership. It's done. It's mine. This is who I am. You don't speak these things to convince the world. You speak them because they are already true within you. And as this inner truth stabilizes, so does your outer world. You stop seeing chaos and start seeing order. You stop feeling anxiety and start feeling peace. You stop fighting against the tide and start moving with the current of your chosen reality. There's no longer resistance, just flow, just clarity, just the calm unfolding of the scene you've been rehearsing in your soul. You realize now that life is always showing you what you are, not what you wish for, not what you work for, but what you are. And so you've stopped wishing. You've stopped working for something out there. You've gone within and shifted what you are, and that shift has changed everything. Because once you've changed what you are, the rest becomes inevitable. It may not arrive in the exact way you imagined, but it will always arrive in the essence of what you felt. The world cannot ignore the conviction of one who has already received within. It must bring it forth, not out of mercy or chance, but out of law. Immutable, unfailing law. The law that governs all creation, responding not to effort, but to state, not to begging, but to being. This is the revelation that sets you apart. While others wait for the world to grant them permission to believe, you believe first. You walk ahead of the evidence. You make the unseen your home. And because of that, you walk differently. You think differently. You speak differently. Not because you're better, but because you've remembered the source. You've stopped needing the outer to shift before you shift. You've realized that every outer change was once an inner shift. So now you give yourself freely to the state of the one who has it all. You no longer rent that state. You own it. You live in it. You cherish it. And the longer you dwell there, the more undeniable it becomes. You begin to smile at life, not because everything is perfect, but because you know it's all unfolding according to the vision you've already claimed. You no longer panic at delays, because you know they are only illusions meant to test your commitment to your state. You no longer measure time, you measure vibration. And in your vibration you carry everything you need. This is how you rise, not through more doing, but through deeper being. You become the one who no longer seeks, because you become the one who already possesses. And in that possession, life becomes simple, elegant, clean. You stop grasping. You start receiving. And even when the world tries to distract you with noise and doubt, you return to the secret. You close your eyes. You feel the truth. You live from it. And that is more than enough. Because now, you're not just speaking words, you're becoming the words. You're not just imagining change, you're being the change. You are the walking embodiment of the life you used to only dream about. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is more powerful than that. You've stepped into the role completely, and now everything bends to meet that identity. Not by force, but by resonance. Not through struggle, but through alignment. You've come to understand that the universe is not withholding anything from you, it was simply waiting for you to match it. And now that you have, the flow cannot be stopped.
What was once delayed now appears with grace. What once seemed far now feels familiar. And as the manifestations begin to take form, you're no longer surprised. You're grateful, yes, but not shocked. Because you saw them first in your inner world, you lived them, you touched them in consciousness long before they arrived in matter, and so their arrival feels natural, expected, the unfolding of what already was. This is not coincidence, it's confirmation. The outer is just catching up to the clarity you held within. You're no longer impressed by physical evidence, because you know it's old news. It's the echo of who you used to be. And while others chase the echo, you remain focused on the source. You stay loyal to the unseen reality, because you understand that's where true wealth lives. It's not in the dollar amount, the car, the house, it's in the being. And from that being, all else is added. Even your relationship with time changes. You stop asking how long, and start asking how deeply. Because the depth of your conviction collapses the distance between desire and fulfillment. What used to take months now happens in days. What once required effort now unfolds effortlessly. You are no longer bound by time. You are shaping it through your state. This is when you realize the secret was never about doing more, working harder, or hustling longer. It was always about choosing more clearly, feeling more purely, trusting more fully. That's the great reversal. That's the power the millionaires have accessed, not because they are different, but because they dared to believe the simple truth. They didn't complicate it, they didn't analyze it. They simply used it. And now, so do you. You've stopped waiting for life to impress you, and you've begun impressing life with the truth of who you are. That's the secret. That's the simplicity. That's the power. And now you know. The secret millionaires use, the one that transforms lives, builds empires, and rewrites destinies, was never hidden. It was never complicated. It was never out of reach. It was always simple. So simple in fact, that most never take it seriously. But you did. You listened, you felt it, you understood. And now, it belongs to you. You don't need to force it. You don't need to earn it. You don't need to wait another day. The moment you decide to live in the state of the one who already has, everything begins to change. The world doesn't resist you. It reflects you. It mirrors the depth of your belief, the strength of your inner posture, and the clarity of your chosen identity. So choose boldly. Speak as one who already owns it. Walk as one who already is. Think as one who no longer doubts. Let others keep searching for secrets in the noise. You found yours in the silence, in imagination, in assumption, in being. Stay there, dwell there, and watch the world conform to your truth, not because you demanded it, but because you became it. This is how millionaires are made, not by chance, not by luck, but by inner certainty. By walking as if, speaking as if, and living as if, until as if becomes as is. It's already done. It's already yours. Now go live like it.